What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? But even living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. Poco no mirai wa.
Good morning, everybody. Question. Do you think we have some people out there that feel betrayed this morning? Huh? A little bit of betrayal been going on, a little bit of backstabbing. You know, that's a great thing about it. When you have a group of people who come together and their whole agenda, their whole purpose is to burn the world around them down, it doesn't take much pressure from exterior coming in or even inside coming out. Either way, it doesn't really matter. And they will all turn on each other. And they'll start nipping and they'll start biting each other, right? And that's what we've seen in this SNT, right? There has been this attempt, shall we say, of this narrative to be spun by one C.J. Brown and a sidekick Parking Tigers. Now, Parking Tigers and C.J. Brown have been on this tour, this whirlwind, if you will, of trying to put forth how they are good guys now and how they're doing all this stuff to try to help these victims of Savo pancakes. These girls aren't victims. Were they manipulated? Yeah, sure. Were they misled, lied to, used, hell, even abused, you might say, right? Some of the shit he had them doing. Yeah, I'll give you all that, but they were not victims. They were not forced to do any of this. None of them were forced to do any of the things that they did against their will, right? This was not where they were coming physically. They were not, they were not, some might argue, oh, well, they were forced to because they were manipulated. No, because they could have walked away and stopped any time they wanted to, right? But anyway, the one thing I want to really just kind of put a nail in the coffin, I think, on this whole deal is during this Twitter space that was held back the other day, and CJ and Parking Tigers, as you can see here, they're in the little Twitter space here, and King comes in and he's telling them, tell the story, tell all of it, don't leave it out, nothing, right? I want you to listen to this one little segment here, okay?
That again, so let's think here. Let me go on my Twitch just to get the exact date.
Why do you need to think? What the fuck? Tell the story. You lived it.
Okay.
Dude, this whole thing was very convoluted.
Yeah, it is. It's convoluted.
Now, that person saying this whole thing was convoluted is Parking Tigers. Okay.
Convoluted, so it's kind of hard to follow. But so
when you first heard the allegations, you didn't believe
no,
them?
I believed them right away. I believed them right away. Parking was in the call.
Why am I trying to
Parking was in the call. He believed it right away, right?
help you out, bro? What?
Dude, Parking was in the call.
No, he did.
Parking was in the call. He can vouch.
And now Parky's going to vouch for him here, right?
Once CJ found out about Clara maybe a week and a half ago.
Once CJ found out about Clara about a week and a half ago, you heard it from Parking Tiger's own voice, right? One little problem. Smidgen, just a smidgen of a problem here, guys. Clara, okay, out on the Discord, puts this little message out. Says, the way it started was for me feeling the need to be very honest to verified Parking Tigers, right? Parking Tigers. Months ago, about Savo and I being together. Parking Tigers knew about this months ago, not a week and a half ago, as they're trying to convey in this Twitter space, guys, months ago, right? One more of their little lies debunked. So here's the problem with liars, right? When a person is a liar, and that's all they know how to do is tell lies, and they tell lies, and they tell lies and stuff, right? The problem is, guess what? They lose track of the lies, and they don't know where one lie begins and one lie ends, right? So you cannot listen to liars. You cannot listen to them. You cannot. You 100% cannot. Why? Because all they do is lie. And they'll get caught up, right? And so now, I think CJ basically, I haven't seen any activity out of him at all, right? He's like went into bunker mode. He's hidden somewhere, and rightfully so, probably after this, right? Because he really had these delusions of grandeur that he was some way going to have to keep all these little plates spinning, right? He's like some clown in a circus. He's out here spinning these plates, and he's going to keep them all spinning, and it's all going to come, and he is going to be the ringmaster. He's going to come out. He was going to step into the void that Sabo left, right? Why anybody would want to step in that void beyond me, but whatever, okay? And all he's wound up doing is every plate that he had spinning has now come crashing down around his feet, and he's sitting there with pie on his face, looking like a fool. Now, Parking Tigers, he's not, maybe, I don't think he's quite maybe as smart as CJ. And CJ, let me just state this. CJ, because I actually had a conversation with him on one of his streams one time. CJ, he's not exactly the brightest bulb in the old box, people, right? He's really slow. He's dense. And I think Parking Tigers is worse than him, because Parking Tigers is still out here trying to keep some plates spinning. It ain't going to work. You know, he's out here trying to still go after Savile. and Ziley ate him up last night. Literally ate him up. And if you did not watch Ziley's stream last night, you need to do that. You need to watch Ziley's stream. It's only about an hour, but she reads them chapter and verse, right? She has dead to rights, and it was a very, very good stream. Very, very well, just a good stream. And check it out if you have it. And I can't believe, oh well, I guess I'll do this, whatever. So Slug, the guy that I don't know, seems to be everywhere and all things, puts out a tweet, says, "Hey, Zadi, Chris, and Keem, and others, get out of the S&T server. There are multiple gore and crushing videos being distributed. The server has been reported, and the users have been reported as well. I guess was doing these horrific types of posts. The server may or may not go down, and all accounts may get bans." Here's a list of some of the people who are, says, FYI, the people that were tagged here did not remove or delete the server. They condone it. I don't care. Their server, their reputation. And you can see some of the people who are in this, Abby Blackbird is in there. Honey, you need to get out of there. You need to do a little house cleaning there, my dear. Let's see who else. Parky Tigers is in there. Clara is in there. Let's see here. Sabo still in there, looks like. I guess that's the real Sabo. I don't know. Could be a fake one. Who knows? Parky Tigers is in there twice, I guess. I guess he's got two different ones. I don't know. Anyway, evident, and this is the person here that has been posting this type of stuff. So you guys may want to, I don't know if there's a way to go in Discord. I haven't really messed with it yet. But definitely might want to, put up a block on that person right there. Oh, hang on here. It didn't show it, did it? Is it not showing the right thing again? Hang on a sec, guys. Let me fix this. Why is it doing this? Oh, I don't know. It does this all the time. There we go. There we go. That's so aggravating. I gotta figure out a way to fix that. Anyway, so block this person right here of this BMB number 5412. Okay. Yesterday, during the Tommy C stream, Tommy C was able to get the community strikes off of his channel, and he's back streaming now. Tommy had probably one of his, I'm going to say, definitely top 10 and even possibly top 5 streams yesterday. Excellent stream. Very good. Very entertaining. A lot of stuff coming on, a lot of stuff happening. Flamenco makes an appearance. Man, poor Flamenco, right? The dude just doesn't seem to, I don't know. I don't know if he cannot just not spurg out. And the thing about was and is, right, is he comes on there and he does a typical flamenco, right, move. And then after the after show, they did a stages, on their on the Discord, they did stages for the members or whatever, and was in there listening. And he comes on there and he starts whatever, but then he kind of, I don't know if his meds kicked in or maybe some array of sanity popped into his head. I don't know exactly what happened, but he actually came back central, and they were able to have a conversation, and it was a productive conversation. And Sabo, yeah, I understand. But then from what I'm grasping, I haven't went out and watched all these things subsequently following. But I guess he went on. I think it's Turkey Tom, and he savoed it up again. Not Savo, but flamencoed it up again. But anyway, during this stuff, this all kind of came out during Tommy's stream yesterday afternoon. Evidently, Savo was doxing Keemstar's girlfriend. Now, I assume that this was prior to the, big breaking news of his sex harem that he had, right? And the sexcapades he was going through and doing whatever, right? But it's also, but we covered yesterday how he intentionally doxed Chris multiple times, right? How he orchestrated this plan, how he was going to get him banned off of Twitch to try to cut off some of his money source there, because he had evidently had like a real rage hate boner, right, for Chris. Right now it looks like he's doxing Keemstar, right? Zadi showed last night on her stream that he was threatening to dox her as well, right? Come after her. If you weren't aware of that, definitely check out Zadi's stream, because girl brought receipts last night. Not only did she bring receipts, I mean, she had those prime rib receipts. I'm talking about the juicy, real good tender steaks that you want. She had all that. So check out that stream. Salvo evidently had no qualms about doxing. And here's the thing, right? All of his little minions like CJ, Parking Tiger, Clara, all these people, they all signed off on it. They all condoned it. They were all okay with it. They were all laughing about it. They all were trying to make excuse this. Oh no, that's not doxing. That's okay. That's fine. You know. And the thing of it is this is in some cases, the person could have a fairly common name. Fair point, right? The problem is, and like I said yesterday, people could take that name and start harassing people that is not the person, because it's just a common name, right? We've seen it before. This is we have some people out there that are brain dead. They're smooth brains. If you looked at their brains, there's no wrinkles, there's no folds or nothing. It's just one big smooth. It's like an egghead. It's like a big eggshell. There's nothing there, right? There's nothing to hold information. There's nothing there to allow critical thinking. There's nothing there to allow them to have a tangible, conscious thought, right? And so they'll take something like that and they will use it. And here's the thing. Savo is not stupid, right? He's intelligent, and he knows by him doing those things, he knows exactly what would occur. Plain and simple. He knew what would occur, and he was okay with that, right? But again, remember, guys, there's no rules. There's no boundaries. There's no nothing, right? And I thought this was a very, very interesting segment during Tommy's stream last night, or yesterday afternoon, whatever, depending on where you're at. Keemstar called in. They had a very fruitful conversation, and Keemstar had this to say.
When Salvo came on to work on the Keemstar show, my attorneys made a over-the-top one-sided contract in my benefit and my benefit only, right?
Okay.
To the point where, like, Salvo took it to his attorney or somebody, and he's like, bro, I can't sign this. Like, what if I leak anything, if I say anything private, like, there's so many I can't sign this. I'm like, well, dude, my lawyers have to look out for me, so, like, I have to do what they say, so we can't change it. Either sign it or don't sign it. And he signed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, come to find out, the Salvo news team or somebody put the Salvo Discord server up, like, within the last 24 hours, and Salvo was leaking every private thing about me. He was like, every text message, every anything he was like sending to his Salvo's news team, like his number 1, 2, and 3 lieutenants. He was telling them every detail about me privately. So now, like, we're actually going to take legal action. All the money that he got paid on the Keemstar show,
you're really going after him.
We want every dime of that back.
I tell you something, as anybody else, I wouldn't believe it, but you have actually gone after people before and got paid.
Oh yeah, I want every dime of that back, right? Every dime.
So Salvo according to what Keemstar, I'm going to take Keemstar as a man of his word. Keemstar is not afraid of litigation. Okay. He's not. So whatever money that Sabo made while working for Keemstar is fixed to come back to Keemstar. And not only that, y'all, right? He's going to lose money because he's going to have to hire attorneys if he even tries to fight it, which he may not. I don't know. I mean, but that's going to be interesting, right? So not only is Savo's online life in shambles right now, his personal life, if we're to believe what has been told about his wife, leaving him and stuff, is in shambles, right? So now his oh Lord, his financial life is going to be in shambles. Every aspect of this man's life is over with, is done, right? I don't know. I mean, for a guy who was all about, wanting to watch the world burn, I guess he got his wish, because his world is burning up to a damn crisp right now. Back when Savo started taking on people like Tipster and BeauBlacks and Augie, Nick DiOrio, Xylee, right? And some of those people I consider that I'm friendly with them. I'm friendly with BeauBlacks. I'm friendly with Nick. I'm friendly with Tipster. I'm friends with Xylee. Xylee and I have it's not like we're friends. And we're not close friends, but we're friends. I mean, we've talked to visit a few times, and I like Xylee, and I think she's good people. Anyways, Savo came to me and in DMs, and he was like, pick a side. He wanted me to choose a side, either choose him or choose these other people that he was going to war with. And I just simply replied to him. I said, I choose comedy. I said, whoever makes me laugh, and did Sabo make me laugh? Yeah, he made me laugh. But guess who else also makes me laugh? BeauBlacks makes me laugh. Tipster makes me laugh. Augie makes me laugh. Nick makes me laugh. Xylee makes me laugh. And they're still laughing. So, just saying. Just saying. Speaking of BeauBlacks. So, BeauBlacks put out a tweet. And this was after Edwin streamed the other evening. It says, interesting how Edwin is shitting on Savo now that he's being dogpiled. But when shit like this happens on his stream, it wasn't a big deal. LOL. This is a 6-minute Twitter video that he uploaded here, right? And in this 6-minute compilation of stuff, right? He shows how Salvo. Well, you know what? Rather than me tell you, let's just listen to part of it. I don't want to do the full 6 minutes, but we'll just listen to part of it.
I will immediately say, chat, take notice of when this call in this episode goes downhill. When BeauBlacks gets into the chat, unfortunately, it feels too RFC-ish, too childish, and like you wander to the other end of the school and things feel fucking weird. Guys,
so you don't want to know what Nick said about you in the group chat? Because that's what I was about to say. But
I don't really care. Hey, I don't really care, BeauBlacks. But just so the chat knows, take a mental note of when this gets a little annoying.
Mental note taken.
So, BeauBlacks, I'm glad that you stayed quiet after I fucking put you in your place, something that Augie and DiOrio are trying to do, but they feel too bad for you. I really hope you at least realize how obvious it is, and you're not this fucking smart. Can you at least acknowledge that you look slow? Dude, you're BeauBlacks. You don't do anything all day except chair, screens, computer.
You know, I'll go to BeauBlacks first, and you can go next.
All right. Dude, I'm not even paying attention. This
Oh.
fucking Uber Eats
Oh,
order.
come on, you.
Do you want to
move
hang
on?
All right, I'll answer it.
That's what I'm talking about. You gotta cut that mental. Cut him out. He's making you look bad.
I haven't even said anything.
BeauBlacks, that's the problem. When you do talk, it's very bad. So maybe
I
just
didn't
don't.
even finish my sentence.
Uh-oh. Let me search
you
up a
just
Mario
interrupt
song.
with your fucking unfunny quips.
So,
fucking
Edwin.
let someone else speak. Jesus Christ.
Am I wrong? It's like, do you think that like that's what I should be doing? Is cutting your ass off before you just really ruin things in the flow, and everybody takes a minute after you try to say something funny, and there's silence. Should I try to stop that before it happens? Piggy.
Oh, you want me to speak?
I asked you a question,
No,
Piggy.
no, me speaking so bad. No, go ahead.
Good boy. Now don't talk until this stream is over.
And so, Savo goes on in this video to degrade, dehumanize, to ridicule, mock, to paint BeauBlacks in a very horrible light. Calls, I think he eventually does come right out, flat out call him retarded, heavily insinuates it throughout the entire thing, right? And Edwin, who is his friend, right, who knew BeauBlacks for quite some times, laughed on him, even played little Mimi, what was that video game music, Mario Brothers, whatever, behind the scenes stuff, right? So, and in Edwin's stream that he did the other evening, he tries to portray himself as a victim as well, that we should feel sorry for him for what happened. And, I think I'm going to let Miss Ziley take the lead on this one. And let's just listen to what Ziley had to say about it.
Edwin, your live stream last night, if that wasn't the biggest fucking cope how in the fuck? Edwin, I don't understand. Okay, listen, I thought about this, all right? First of all, Edwin, how in the hell did you make allegations about other people? How did that make you the victim? How did that make you a victim, Edwin? How did it make you a victim? Your friends, your homies were literally harassed for months. You saw what he was doing, and yet you're the victim? So I was thinking, all right, so Edwin jumped ship real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to legitimately say, I legitimately thought this. I was thinking to myself, now, wait a minute. Is Edwin switching sides real quick just so he can have protection? Because is that the reason why he went to Salvo for protection? Because it looks like he was jumping ship like a rat.
I wondered, after listening to Zadi go through all this stuff, I wondered to myself, how many people kind of, for lack of a better word, aligned themselves with Savo because they didn't want to get Savoed, right? Because we had saw what happened to people like Flamenco. And then we saw what happened to people like Tipster. And then he went after BeauBlacks. And then he went after Ziley, right? And it seemed like, he was one at a time going through people kind of, and he tried to, and of course, and let's not forget what he did with Augie and his mom and how he tried to go at Nicholas and things like that, right? And he was trying to bully all these people, right? He was trying to get them to all bend the knee, as it were, right? And I wonder if Edwin didn't jump ship, as Zolly says here, just so that he didn't get savoed? Or did Edwin really enjoy what Sabo was doing and was okay with it and signed off on it? Right? Because you saw in that stream, that evidence that BeauBlacks put up, how he was just unmercilessly attacking BeauBlacks and making fun of him and ridiculing him. Right? And here's the thing about it. I have no problems. You know, if someone says something, or if they have a really horrible take, or if they do something that's kind of stupid or whatever, right? Attacking that, right? Or picking apart something that they say or whatever and do, right? But what I will not do personally is I'm not going to attack their physical appearances. I'm not going to attack their, you know, I'm just not. When you start attacking, you know, attack what they say, attack their philosophies, attack their ideologies, right? But don't attack the person themselves, right? To me, that always seemed like that was a real easy, low bar thing to do, right? Because if somebody comes at me and they say, "Oh, Riv, you're fat. Riv, you're old." Yes, I'm old. Yes, I'm fat. Oh, Riv, you say and ah, and you take a long time. Well, yeah, I've got a stutter. I've had it since I was a kid. And part of my problem is my brain races so fast inside of my head, because of probably, if they'd had this back when I was a kid in school, they would have diagnosed me with probably ADHD, because I was overly hyper as a kid, right? But my brain starts racing, right, with thoughts and stuff, and trying to get them in an organized manner to be able to put it out in a concise or detailed, you know, logical. Sometimes it really, it's a struggle for me. And so when you hear me talk stuff, you hear me, it's that is me trying to catch up to my brain, right? It gets worse, right, when I'm streaming and stuff. So if I pause for 1 second even, and I start looking at the chat, and it's not that I ignore you guys. I'm not ignoring you. I promise you, I'm trying not to anyway. Not in the sense that you guys, you know, if I start engaging with you guys in chat, it gets my brain, it gets a whole nother thing going, and it gets me so my stuttering will get worse. So to be able to present my stories and present my thoughts and stuff to you guys, I have to focus on what I'm doing, right? So I don't want you guys to ever think that I'm ignoring you in chat, because I am, but I'm not. It's so that I can present a palatable show that brings you guys information that I feel is pertinent to what we're talking about. And I'm not hawing and stuttering and stammering and stuff like that, right? And it's one of the things, God bless him, that really gets Dave aggravated with me sometimes, right? It's because I will be trying to tell, but the problem is when I'm producing for Dave, I have a million things on my mind. I'm like, okay, I gotta get this clip, I gotta get this, I got this, whatever else. I'm watching chat because I'm trying to help the mods there with chat stuff as well, right? And I'm also trying to listen to the conversation that him and his host or co-host and stuff are having, or his guests that, you know, that he unmutes and allows to talk and stuff. And so I'm trying so that I can follow that as well. And I'm gonna just be honest with you. Sometimes my pea brain that I have, because I'm not a smart man. I really truly I'm not I've lived long enough that I have some wisdom about me. Okay. Now, when it comes to computers, I'm probably above average intelligence on computers and how to help people. And I love helping people with that type of stuff. And I love being able to use that knowledge that I've gained over the years to help people. And because I want people to succeed, I want them to be successful, you know? That's why when, you know, even Savo came to me and was like, hey, Riv, can you help me? And I did. I helped him set up the stream elements and stuff like that and how to get it integrated into his streams and stuff when he got demonetized, because I hated that the guy got demonetized. I thought that was kind of crappy, you know? I wanted the guy to succeed, you know? I wasn't particularly happy with some of the things that he was doing, but you know what? Everybody has to have their own rules to live by, right? And while some of the things that he did, I don't think I would do it. But there again, if I'm pushed to a certain limit, who knows, right? You don't really know until you're refined by the fire, as they say, right? And you see, are you going to come out a better person? Are you going to come out with all that stuff, you know, burnt away, right? And I think looking back now and in retrospect, and I look at these things, right? I think BeauBlacks and I think Tipster and Augie and Nick, and I think especially Savile, who went through these fires, right? I think it was very apropos that she had the fire as her backdrop last night in her stream. I think they were refined. I think there were some things that they learned from this. And I honestly truly believe that they will be better people. I hate that they went through it. Don't misunderstand. I hate that they went through that stuff. But I do believe it's going to make them a better person, and ultimately it will make them better streamers and entertainers for all of us going forward. So that's pretty much my stories. So let's look at the chat and let's see what you guys are having to say today, because now I can talk with you guys. Let's go back here a little bit. Let's see what's going on here. We got D-Max, we got Bethan, Squatchin. Who else we got in there today? Paw Prints. Yep, there's my Paw Prints. The Joker. All right, so Joker says, wait, who's suing who? Okay, so for that part of it, Joker, what was going on is when Salvo went to work for Keemstar on the Keemstar show, he had a contract. He was an employee, right? Just like Chris was an employee, right? They were not partners in the sense that they owned part of the show or anything like that. Keemstar owned everything, lock, stock, and barrel, right? And they were just employees. So as part of the contract that they signed, there was an NDA in there, right? A non-disclosure agreement. And that NDA was you cannot disclose things about Keemstar. You cannot disclose things about, you know, whatever all was in that contract. I haven't seen the contract. I don't know. But anyway, Keemstar, in his own words, said that the contract was very, very lopsided in his favor, which one would expect to be, right? And now he has got evidence that Savo was taking stuff that he was not supposed to divulge and leak and what have you, and was sharing it with his team, right? So Savo broke the NDA, which means that he can now be sued for breach of contract. And that's what Keemstar was saying on Tommy's show last night. He is going to file litigation against Salvo for breach of contract. And knowing Keemstar, right, I guarantee you Keemstar has everything documented. He has all of his I's dotted and T's crossed. I'm sure he has screenshots. I'm sure he has backup of everything of what Savo was doing and sharing with these people. And he'll take that. They'll file a lawsuit, and you know, either Salvo will have to just say yeah and pay the money that he's asking for, or Savo will have to hire an attorney and try to fight it, and then the judge will determine whether or not if he wins or loses, or they'll have a settlement out of court, whatever. But irrespective, Sabo has got some money issues coming in his future. Period. So what else is in here? Honestly, D-Max says, honestly, the anti-doxing contract is a really good idea. Doxing isn't illegal otherwise. Yep. Let's see what else here. Keem could, D-Max says Keem could sue Sabo for doxing because he signed a contract. Okay. So he's trying to explain. Okay. Yeah. No, not doubtful at all, Joker. That's 100%, what has happened there. Yeah, exactly. Keemstar has went after people with a lot less than one, 100%. Yeah, he doesn't have exactly, Joker. He doesn't have a play button even that he could take, right? Yeah, Sabo getting bankrupt for 2023. Exactly, Squatchin. Did he even get paid much? Well, excuse me. It was my understanding that Sabo was getting paid. It's like $1,000 a month, I believe it was, for the show, and they were doing two shows a week, right? So, yeah, so about $52,000 a year, I believe, is what he was being paid, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. But Keem and Sabo, one of their, I think it was the reunion show, quote, the reunion show when Edwin came up there, right? The show where Sabo doxed Chris multiple times there. In that one, they had a conversation, and Sabo was kind of bitching a little bit about it, and Keemstar was like, "Yeah, but he took care of him, right?" Another little interesting point I felt was during Tommy's stream yesterday, Keemstar was talking about how when they would go out and stuff to do, to the bar after whatever, this, that, whatever else, that Sabo was always, I lost, I left my billfold, up, whatever, right? And it finally got to the point where Keemstar said he had to physically drag Sabo's billfold out and make him pay for his drinks that night. Not everybody's drinks, just the drinks that Sabo had taken was my understanding of the way he presented it. But he made Sabo finally pay his own tab. But and even Chris talked about how Sabo. So I don't know if that was like a play that Sabo was doing to try to get over on people or not as well. But yeah. So do you get paid? Okay, Squatcher says, "Who knows? But actions have consequences, even." On the internet. Yes, everything that you do, guys, everything that you say, everything has consequences. IRL, internet, it doesn't matter. Everything that you do has consequences, right? If I say something on one of my streams that is not correct, right? It can have repercussions, right? People could come out and say, "Oh, he didn't know his type," and show where I was wrong. And people laugh at me. So sometimes it can be something as minuscule as that, right? It doesn't have to be like financial, whatever, but it could be, because then people could quit watching me and so on and so forth and what have you, right? But it could also be a situation like what is happening here, and with Keemstar saying he's going to sue Sabo, right? Now don't forget that Sabo, or that Keemstar rather is in another litigation. He's still in that litigation with Deaf Noodles, right? I haven't seen anything on that in a little while either. The last I saw was that Keem's attorneys had filed for it to be dismissed and Def Noodle's attorneys had filed paperwork or whatever in counter to that. But that was like right before the holiday season and stuff. And so basically the court systems, for the most part, really kind of shut down during the holiday seasons. There's not a whole lot of stuff that really actually goes on in the legal system. All government agencies really in December really kind of shut down, right? They may be in their offices and they may be doing some paperwork and in the year type stuff. But as far as like having court or litigations, things like that, it's just not going to happen. So look for that to fire back up after first of the year. So maybe we might get some more information on that and maybe even a resolution. Time will tell on that. Let's see what else. Oh, there's Abby. Abby, I don't know if you saw the part of where we were going over it or not, but there was a slug had put out a tweet showing that I guess that SNT server, and there was people in there doing some pretty horrific things, and saying that server had been reported, and the persons that was doing the really horrific things with animals and stuff have been reported as well. It showed an Abby Blackbird as a member of that server. And the thing about it is that if a server gets taken down for things like that, irrespective, if my understanding is irrespective, because I know it's happened to somebody else, was in a server that had nothing to do with what was going on, but the server got taken down by Discord. And when the Discord owners themselves took that server down, everybody who was a member of that server, their Discord accounts got banned, right? So I'm not saying Abby was a part of it. I'm not saying that at all, but if you're in that server, hun, you might want to get out of there if you don't want to lose your Discord account. Is all I'm saying. So just get out of that server. Do not be a part of that server. Let's see what else. Maybe this behavior is why the Pauls kicked him to the curb. You think Savo would have rode in on that before he could have? Yeah, I don't know. It's possible. I mean, remember, Sabo was a part of the Team 10 house for a little bit. So who knows what kind of behavior was going on out there that could have, he was at Jake Paul's fake wedding as well. So I don't know. There's too many unknowns about this. I didn't know the man personally. I don't know his whole life story. I don't know anything that anyone says about this. I think at this point probably would be speculation, unless maybe Jake, Paul or someone like that actually came forth and made a statement. But I don't see that happening. So anyway, let's see here. I left that server a few days ago. I don't know, days have been blurred, but I saw the crazy people there and I dipped. Good for you. Good. That's good. I'm glad to see that. Yeah, I bet you are. It has been an extremely long week. It really is. Another Abby W. Yeah. So anyway, hey, how you doing, Sarah? Sausage. I guess, is that sausage? Is that how you say that? Well, anyway, welcome in, Sarah. Question. I do play some video games every now and then, and I've got a group of people that I do play video games with, right? And I have a second YouTube channel that I set up long ago for gaming, because I tried the whole Twitch thing, and it just didn't ever really work for me. It just didn't pan out. So if I was to occasionally do some gaming streaming over there where I'm playing my little games, whatever, and talking with my buddies, I understand if I do it, I wouldn't be doing drama. Okay. When I do drama, it's here, or I do it on Dave's show, or like if I call into somebody's, stream like Nerdy John or Chris or someone like that, Ziley, whoever. But what I'm doing, that is my getaway, right? Because guys, I'm gonna give you some advice. You can't do this stuff all the time. It will literally give you brain worms. Okay, you will literally get brain worms. So I have to purge that stuff for a while, right? I have to get away from it, and I don't talk drama. We laugh, we goof, we bust each other's balls, and a lot of times, I'll tell you right now, the conversations 9 times out of 10 are not politically correct. I would have to have a conversation, I think, with some of them just so I wouldn't get banned off of YouTube. I'll be quite honest with you with some of the things. But if I was to actually start doing some of that and sharing some of that streaming with, playing games or whatever, would you guys be interested in watching that? So if I did that, maybe, yeah, possibly, we'll see. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll think about it because honestly, I don't know because I also kind of feel like I need to have kind of like a fortress of solitude where I can get away from this for a little while too. But I still kind of would like to hang out with you guys as well. And maybe you guys could see a little bit different side of me when I'm not talking about this stuff here. I'll think about it though. I'll think about it. You'd watch Paw Prince? Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. What games do I play? Well, right now, my 2 sons dragged me back into literally kicking and screaming, dragged me back into WoW. Because they were playing it, and over the Christmas break and stuff, they really laid the guilt on me hot and heavy about, be something that as father and sons we could do and stuff. And then the next thing I know, this person's back and this person's back. And so now we've got basically like, yeah, retail. Yeah. I'm playing my paladin that I've had. I from the very launch of WoW back in 2000 and what was it, 5? I think when WoW launched. This was my character. I played him through Vanilla. I played him through Burning Crusade. I played him through the Wrath of Lich King. I played him through all of it. Pandera. Every expansion that WoW has put out, I played this paladin. It's my main. I've got others that I play as well, but he's my main. I don't anyway. Yeah, no, not WoW. Life over for Riv, right? Exactly, Joey. In a lot of ways, you're exactly right. WoW can be so time consuming, right? It can be such a damn time sink. And that's one of the reasons why I quit playing WoW. Another reason why I quit playing WoW, quite honestly, was when they moved away and they implemented the group finder aspect, right? Where you could queue up for dungeons or queue up for raids, and you'd get placed into it and you just go do a raid or you just go do a dungeon, whatever, right? Now, for the casual gamer, for the casual gamers, it was great, right? Because, they hop on, they do their little thing or whatever, right? The problem is it really dumbed down the game? Because then all of a sudden you'd get into looking for group raid or whatever, right? Get in one of those raid finders. You get in there and people would not know the mechanics of the raid. And, they would get in there and just stink up the shit. And there was no camaraderie. There was no, back in the day we used TeamSpeak. And so everything was coordinated. and you would have, there was a community aspect about the game, right? Because you would have the guilds, and the guilds, you would say, okay, hey guys, I need to run this dungeon because I'm trying to get this particular piece of gear, or I need to run this, whatever, right? Back in the days, it was running the DK45 to try to get the Death Knight mount, right? In DK45. Or, like, for example, you would run the different dungeons to get your, what they call back then, they call it, it started off as your, what they call your dungeon set, right? Tier 0, right? It was your dungeon set back in vanilla. And then they implemented what they called the 0.5 set, right? Which was, you would go out and do other things to get certain components, and there were certain bosses that you had to kill within a certain time frame within that. When you start to initiate the fight, and you had to kill them within a certain time, and when you triggered these events, it made that boss a lot harder to kill, to get those gear, get that dungeon set, right? And this was before they actually had the actual tier 1 rating set, right? But and there was a whole process to, like, for example, if you were a paladin and you wanted to get your level 60 mount, right, your epic mount, there was a whole chain quest that you had to do, right? And you had to buy certain components, and do a quest line and fight certain mobs in dungeons to get your steed, right? To get your, and I did all that, right? And nowadays, oh, you just get it, right? You just pay your whatever gold amount it was for that level of riding, and boom, all of a sudden you just have everything, right? So they really put it on easy mode, um, you know, on that aspect, and then they turn around and added in, oh, now you have all these dailies, so you do this rep grind, for like crafting, whatever craft, skills, whatever professions, you get these crafting um schematics or whatever to do these different, whatever. And it's just, and it's just repetitiveness, and I don't like that. I don't like the whole grind thing. But anyway, uh, uh, let's see. Tier 5 was your favorite set for shamans. My Tarn looked like a predator. Asmo says Tier 2 enhancement PvP set at TBC was the first. Weapons will always be my favorite. Yeah. What was the recolor from the same dungeon tier set? Yeah. Anyway, so it seems like we have a lot of old WoW heads out there, right? Yeah, Ventrilo gang, exactly. So, um, but the one game that I really have enjoyed is playing is Valheim. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that game. Valheim is it's a survival game with crafting. But it's got a storyline, and it's got missions, whatever. It's in early access right now. They just did a big content patch called the Mistlands. And it's because there's different biomes, and in the different biomes it takes you through the different, like, you start off with like leather and stuff, right? And then you get into copper and tin, and then bronze, and you have different, you can make yourself armor and weapons and so forth, right? And then from that you get into iron, and each one of those metals are in a different biome, right? And you have to do them in sequential order, right? Because you have to get enough of the metal and go through and then each biome has its own boss, right? And so right now they have the plains, and then they have the dark forest, and then you have the swamp, and then you have the mountain, right? And then you have after the mountains you have plains, and after the plains they now have introduced the mist zone. There's still, I think it's called the Ash Zone or something like that they haven't finished doing yet. And sometimes they've even been known to go back in some of the existing biomes and tweak them and add a little bit something, right? Like they went back into the mountains biome and they added little what they call dungeons, little dungeons that you have to go in and fight the monsters and stuff within the dungeons to get certain resources that allows you to make different types of gear set, right? They have different armors and stuff that you can build, right? So like if you wanted to be more of a ranged person and shoot bows and stuff, well, they've got armor more, designated towards that. The problem is that armor usually is not as tough as, say, like the metal armor. So unless you've got somebody in there to kind of help you and they're more melee, the ranged one can be sometimes a little bit more challenging trying to stay at enough of a distance so that you don't, get your shit punched in by some of these mobs because they can hit quite hard. But it's a cool little game. I think it's like $20, something like that, ballpark US in Steam. But if you like, and it's Vikings, I don't know if I mentioned that or not. It's Viking. They are Squatching. They are doing Valheim. They are putting it on consoles now, Valheim, and they do have cross-platform playing and stuff. And that might be something. Because I could set up a server and maybe we could set up something and play together as a kind of a group, whatever, right? It's going to Game Pass, already is. Yeah, Dave tried Valheim for a little bit. I think he kind of enjoyed it. But anyway, I think a troll wound up drop kicking his ass out in the middle of the ocean. So anyway, listen, I'm gonna wrap things up. Let me do my spiel here. All right, so here's some people to check out. D-Max. If you're not following D-Max on Twitter, a matter of fact, here, let me tell you about my best friend. Where's he at? Why can't I? Where you at, D-Max? Here we go. So this is D-Max, okay? Check D-Max out. If you're needing some graphic work done, right? He also streams on the Twitches, and he does really good artwork. Check him out. So he is, listen guys, he's a professional. He's been to college and everything on this graphic stuff. An editor. He's actually a paid, movie editor dude. He's producer. The dude is talented as hell. And what makes it even better is he is old school commentary community. Old school. I'm talking like 2016, 15, 17 in there. Old school commentary. Check out D-Max. Another person that you need to check out, and let's see, I think maybe he's doing a stream here this morning. Where you at? Let's see here. Nerd. Where you at, Nerd? Yeah. Nerdy's going to have a stream here in about 26 minutes. So when you get through here, you can go refresh your coffee, maybe warm you up another cheese Danish or muffin or whatever it is that you like to have. with your coffee every morning, and you can check out Nerdy. It looks like he's going to be talking about flamenco. I didn't talk to you really about flamenco because, quite honestly, I don't know the whole lore there and whatever. But check out Nerdy. Now, also check out Dead on Dave tonight. Right? Here's why. Now, we don't have the stream set up yet because I've got to get a thumbnail put together and what have you and stuff, and it'll be put up probably sometime around midday or whatever. Dave has added another co-host. We're going to have Mondays with Xylee, right? So we have Xylee Gets Real on Mondays, right? We have SFTP Tuesdays with Tommy C and or Matt Pitt, right? So SFTP Tuesdays. Wednesdays is Willie Mack. Thursdays are with Nick DiOrio. Fridays are with BeauBlacks. Saturdays is Drew with Sharing, right? Dave has got such an all-star lineup, right? And here's something, guys. I was talking to Dave the other day. We had a nice little conversation. He didn't yell at me, but maybe half a dozen times. I really think with the lineup that Dave has, the excellent producer that he has, the cast of characters that call in and stuff, Dave could hit 20K this year. I really think Dave could hit 20K this year subs. That is our goal with Dave this year. Is we are going to get Dave to 20K subs on his Twitter or on his YouTube rather. 20K guys. We will hit 20K. We're going to do it. D-Max is working on a whole new layout. So we're getting a whole new set of assets and stuff for his streams. And let me tell you something, guys. I've been kind of part of the process and helping and whatever. And y'all, it is banging. It's going to give Dave a whole fresh new look for a whole new year. And Dave, to the moon. Dave's stocks are going through the roof right now. Okay. So make sure you check out Dave, because tonight we'll have the debut Mondays with Xylee. So make sure if you're not subbed, get over there and get subbed. And hell, if you're feeling frisky, give a little subscribe too, right? Because Dave does what do you call it, members only streams and stuff. And we're going to try to work out where we can get some more regular just member streams and stuff for his members. So make sure you get over there and get sub to Dave, right? Let's see what else. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Yeah, check Xylee. Of course, we talked about Xylee and everything. I think that's probably about it. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Hang on here. There's one other person we need to hype up big time too, because this joker here. Let me see here. Let me find here. Let me find this lovely little person. Let me get over here. Let me find it here. Yeah. Yeah, right here. This cat. Pimpin' Pete. Now, Pimpin' Pete is a artist extraordinaire as well, right? And he took one of my thumbnails, my piss poor thumbnails that I have, and he modified it. And as you can see here, boom. He says Savo's piss and piss with PeePaw, right? Pimpin' Pete. He is something else, right? So check Pimpin' Pete out. His Twitter is at Pimpin_Pete. Give him a follow on Twitter if you're not following him. The dude is he's hilarious. He really truly is. He's tough as fuck. He's cool as fuck, and he's sexy as fuck. Right. But he's all the time taking people like right here, right? Like he made this here where Savo urinal cakes. He's got piss pouring in his mouth. He's just anyway. So he just Pete just he memes the hell out of everything. He's just a great guy. So if you're not checking him out, if you haven't checked him out, please do so. Again, it's at @pimpin_Pete. He's very, 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 very talented. And anyway, and on that note, guys, remember to keep your powder dry, and I'll see you in the funny papers.